Well, here's a picture of my dog Olive asleep in my front car seat, and I snuck up on her so that I could get a picture of this little dot she has on her neck. I call it her on-off button, but for some reason that spot just doesn't seem to work. But I thought it would be a good way to actually show you how color range selections work. That would be located up here under Select, Color Range. And this tool is a bit tricky, so don't panic when you see this. It selects colors first by some presets you can choose. Like let's say I choose reds. You'll see that pretty much nothing, hardly anything, maybe a little bit of the color is selected. And this window gives you the preview. And so this pretty much tells us there aren't any reds in this picture, which is true. And I could try and pick highlights to try and get that little spot. But what happens, you'll see, is that I'm getting both her paw and her collar and a pretty nice selection of that spot. I wish I could use it. The thing is, within color range, there's not a whole lot of manipulation that you could do to the selection. So I'm going to come back to this highlights one because I do really like that selection. But another way that I could do this is to go to sample colors. What this will do is allow me to take an eyedropper right here and click in the area that I want, which is a little spot. Now, as you can see, I'm still getting that paw. I can add to the selection by using the Add Eyedropper, and you can see that's gone way too far. I can subtract from the selection by using the minus, but that will then affect my little dot, so none of these are working. But there's a new thing now called Localize Color Clusters. And what this allows you to do is, when it's checked, this range slider shows up, and it allows you to minimize the range that the color range will go. So as I pull it back, you could see that it pretty much deleted everything except that spot. I might have to go in and just, whoops. Okay, now I blew it. Okay, there we go. Go in and sort of clean that up a little. So now I have the selection of just that spot using color range. I can click OK, and you can see that I now have a pretty good set of marching ants there. I would like to make this a little bit larger. Now I can refine that mask by using Mask Edge, or I could go up into Select, and there's two selections here. One is Grow and one is Similar. Grow will actually just give me a wider similar selection. Similar, not to confuse you, will actually give you adjacent white. It would be like taking the contiguous off, and I get that paw again. So that's no good. I want to do Grow, and as you can see, it extended that selection a little bit. Now, that's a pretty good selection. I'd be pretty happy with that. But I want to go back and do this all over again, just to show you there is really no one way to do something in Photoshop, and especially if you're using multiple refinements. So I'm happy with that selection, but now I'm going to deselect it just for the heck of it, go back to the color range, and try something different, which is, I saw when I went to the highlights that I got a really clean selection there of that spot, and I kind of like that. So what I was going to do, now I can't do any manipulation here of the paw and the collar, but I could click OK. And if you were paying attention in the last video, I could manipulate this selection, all these marching ants, by temporarily going into Quick Mask down here. So I click on Quick Mask. I still have that green color from before. Get the brush, and do some painting and just simply manipulate that selection like that. As simple as that. Go back out of Quick Mask, and maybe I could grow that selection. As I look at it, it's missing a few little bits, so I'm going to go back and do grow again. Maybe one more time. You can do multiple times and it will keep growing out. I think that looks pretty good. All right, now for something different. Now I have a decent selection there. Did it 2 different ways, pretty much the same results. So that's what I mean. You have to kind of find your own way. Learn the tools, figure out how to piece them together. Next, my whole motive for this is that I want to turn her little spot right there pink, so everybody knows she's a cute little girl. So I'm going to take the eyedropper right here and click on her pink collar to get a sample. And you'll notice that in my foreground color, that pink came up once I use the eyedropper. Then I'm going to go under Edit, Fill. Oh, you know what else I'm going to do? Ooh, I just thought of something. I'm going to make a new layer. So this is all, that little dot will be all by itself on that one little layer there. So now I'm going to go under Edit, Fill, and I'm going to choose foreground color, which is this pink down here. Click OK and deselect, Command D, and you will see that it filled in with pink paint. Now I'm going to try something that we will go in depth on in a later video, which is a blending mode, because right now that just looks like a blob, like someone spilled pink ink on her. But if I go under, there's a whole menu under here, and it's normally on normal. I'm going to go to multiply. What that does is it multiplies the color with the texture and luminosity of the image below, which would be Olive's fur. So I do multiply, and you can see that it looks a lot more natural. I could even turn down the opacity just a pinch so it blends in nicely. And look at that. Now she has a pink little dot. Maybe I should take her and have that dyed like they do to poodles sometimes. I don't know. No. She'd lose her toughness. All right, so that's color range.